Okay, so let's get start review for like exam one. So like exam one. So basically we'll cover array list, customized class, and the thing we talk about the inheritance. Okay, so I believe most of the people familiar with array and the array, multiple dimensional array, right? So this one I will ask more questions. That you guys you have to familiar with all the concept. Okay, it probably will ask you like how many ways you can declare array. Okay, so that we just so I list the question. Okay, you need to ask yourself whether you understand or not. Okay, so first, how to declare array? How to declare array? You just think, okay, how to declare array using data type, right? Data type, bracket, name, new, data type, right? And here, you need to take care of the size, right? What's the size of array, right? Once you know the size, so this size is fixed, which means you cannot directly to extend, okay? How can you extend? The answer, what's the answer? Can you extend array? What? Make a new array, right? Make a new array with extended size. Then copy the data from original array to a new array. Okay? This is the way we extend the size of the array. How do you know the last element index? How? How to know the last element index number? Plus 1? Minus 1? Okay, size minus 1, right? The size minus 1. This is an index. Another question. So this index is start from 0 or start at 1? 0. Okay, start 0. How to initiate the array? How? How you initiate array? Okay, they declare. How to initialize? How you give the value to this array? Okay, basically there's two ways. One of the ways you can do array name. For example, array name bracket with index, right? Is that right? Okay, so it's down to the size minus 1. Then you assign the new value to that, right? Is there any other way? Under? Yes. There's another way. The person number, right? Is that right? For example. Okay? This is also initialized array with number. Okay, one more question. Based on this one, can you tell me the size of this array? What's the size for array A? 4. All right. Is that fixed? Is the size 4 is fixed? Yes. Okay. Once you declare and initialize the size, which means the size of array A is fixed. If you want to extend, you have to create a new one with extended size. All right? Make sense? Make sense? Good. Okay, so once you declare the size, what's the default value? Yes, right. For string, so basically it's class, right? As long as the class is none. How about Boolean? What's the default value? False. Okay? Okay, how to determine it? Based on data type, right? Okay? If it's Boolean, the default is a false. If it's a number, okay, it will be 0 or 0.0, right? Because sometimes you have a float or double, right? The default value will be 0.0, okay? Question? Question? Good. Okay, then you need familiar with the example I provide in the PowerPoint. Okay, there's at least 5 examples we have. How you copy, how you print, okay, how you access, you go to review, okay? Then we talk about multi-dimensional array. Okay, multi-dimensional array, how to declare? How to declare? Listen. Okay, it's based on the number of brackets. Okay, so each bracket stands for dimension. Okay, if it's the first one, it's first dimension. Second is 2, right? Third is 3. Okay, if for the 2-dimensional array, it stands for row and the column, right? The first bracket is stand for column or row. Row, right? Then it's column. How to partially to instantiate two-dimensional array? There are two ways, okay? What are they? What are they? Okay, the same thing. The first line, okay? There's two ways we can do. The first way is very similar. Okay? Each row stands for row. Here you can 2 or 3, 4, 5. Okay? This helps you to partially to define how many columns at different row. Okay? There's another way. What's another way? What's another way? Guys? What's another way you can declare partial two-dimensional array? Yeah, Hunter? Yes. Okay. So first step, you declare two-dimensional array with column empty. Okay. For example, it's not easy right here. Okay. For example, like this. Here, for example, 3. Leave here empty. Okay? Once you're doing that, we need to access each row, right? So this one just give us some idea. Okay? 3 rows. Okay? But we don't know about like each row, how many columns in each row, right? So we just we want to access that row. How to access? Hunter? Zero, 1, 2. Or anything else? Any column? Something like this. Is that right? Or not right? Okay, first. First, you need to know. As usual, we need a single dimensional array, right? For example, 4 numbers there. 0, 1, 2, 3. Basically, this is single dimensional array, right? How to declare a single dimensional array? New int, right? With the size. Right? Okay. Why we cannot do something like this? Okay. Can we do something like this? Yes or no? Then, okay. This is a 2-dimensional array, right? If you're doing something like this, if this is 3-dimensional array, okay, that's correct. Okay, but this is 2-dimensional array. 0, 1. 0, 1. Let's point to one value, which is not single dimensional array. Okay? Let's run. Okay? Make sense? There are 2 ways you can partially to initiate the partial 2-dimensional array. Okay? How to use the length? This gives us a very important part. Okay? Length. If you have something like this, array A new 5, 4. What's this one return? A dot length. What? 5. Okay, so this is equal to 5. How about this one? What's this one will return? First. 4. Okay, so that means you directly call the length. This will return you the first dimensional array size. Okay, so that means if you have something like this, this will return the first dimensional size, right? 7. Okay, but this one has some tricky part. When we travel, when we want to print every element in this array, using the length. We trying to this length at second level using the index variable rather than specific number. Okay, the reason is two-dimensional array sometimes it probably is partially defined. Okay, if you over here you give specific name number, for example 1. Okay, for partially array sometimes the number of the column is not equal. If you put there specific number, sometimes they cannot find that element. Okay, so check the PowerPoint how you travel every element using the for loop. Okay, there are specific case. Okay, question. Yeah. Okay. There's two ways we can visualize. Okay. The first way, okay, we just draw different table, right? One table is two-dimensional array, right? Three-dimensional array, multiple number of tables, right? Only one line. This is one-dimensional array, right? But there's another way we can visualize. We draw a picture, right? For example, three-dimensional array. 2 or 3, 1, 2. Okay, something like this. If we want to visualize 3, we give 3, right? 1, which means each we have one element extend. 2, it means they can extend to 2. This helps you to find specific value easily. Okay? Dimensional 1, dimensional 2, dimensional 3. Okay? Using the index 0, 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay? This is one of the ways we can visualize array, especially 3 or 4 or 5 dimensional arrays. Okay? Because when we're doing the visualization for more than 3, it's very hard to imagine it. Okay? This gives us a way to visualize array. Okay, multiple dimensional array. Okay? Make sense? Okay, so in the PowerPoint, I give very specific explanation for this part. Okay, check the PowerPoint. Okay, then we talk about the array list. How you declare array list. How to declare array list. we're using the keyword to declare array list, right? Right? A name, new array list. Okay. What's the restriction? What's the contract for the array list? David? Okay. So here you cannot put primitive data type there, which means only class. Okay, only class you can take as data type for the array list. Okay, which means you cannot put int, long, double. Okay, instead of using wrapper class, okay, that means all the primitive data type, they have a class, okay, to help you to declare, which means if you go to int, they have a class called integer, okay, long, they have a class long. The first letter is uppercase, okay? That's what we call the wrapper class. How to use different methods to provide array list. Okay, so I think in last few weeks we talked about using array list many different methods, right? How to remove. We're using an object to remove. We're using an index to remove. We're using the index to add. We're using the object to add. Okay, in here, you need to understand what's the difference between them. For example, remove. So there's two remove methods. One is using an index, for example, 1. Another is using the object. For example, this array list is using a string. Okay, we try to remove the D. What's the big difference for this one? Okay, first you need to know these two, they are overload method, right? The second, the return type will be different. Okay? Yes? All right. So check the list I explained in the class. Okay? The array list method. Okay, try to understand what's the parameter they're trying to take, what's the return type they're trying to return. Okay, try to understand. Then you need to know what's the difference between capacity and the size in an array list. What's the difference? The price?
The capacity is for each how many the arrays can have, how many elements the arrays can have, and the size is how many the arrays have elements.
Yes. Capacities means, okay, reserve some space, okay, and there's no occupied at that time. The size means how many element is occupied. Okay, I give the example. So for example, you want to host the event. Okay, this event has we need to hold this event for 20 people. For example, this is the capacity. Okay, but actually count only 10 people's count. This is the size. Okay, so sometimes you say okay, this event can host up to 20 people. This is capacity. Okay, actually count 10 people to this event. This is the size. Okay, this is how you understand the difference capacity and the size for the array list. Then we talk about two different type of the loop, right? One is a for loop, traditional one, another enhanced for loop. What's the big difference? What's the big difference between them? Still remember the syntax for both of them? What's the syntax for the enhanced for loop? Okay, enhanced for loop. Array list name, data type of array list with instance value and a number. Every time you just use this n. Okay? This is the enhanced for loop. The traditional one, we have initialization, we have condition, we have increasing or decreasing this part. Then we go to the body, right? What's the big difference for these two? Okay, for this one, traditional one, when you deal with traditional one, you need to involve the index number, right? Every time you need to take care of the index number in case, okay, maybe out of the point, right? For example, something like this one. If the index is over, out of the index, they will go arrow, right? That's the reason this one is not easy to use. But for the enhanced one, there's nothing, okay, involved the index. The only thing they involved instance variable. Okay, so this is more like the shorthand for the traditional for loop. Okay, and only can take care of something, okay, to print every element. But for traditional for loop, you can take care of some customized requirement. For example, for the list array list, I only want to print out the old index element or even index element, right? The only thing you need to take care of is here, the last one, okay? You can increase by 2, right? Or increase by 1 to control which element you want to access. Okay? That makes sense? Yes? Okay. Okay. Then we talk about how to define customized class. Okay? User-defined class, which means you want to create a class for yourself. Okay? So how to declare? We use keyword class and the class name, right? Class name. And over here, you got access modifier, right? What's access modifier? What's access modifier? Yes. Okay. Public, private, protected, and leave it blank. Okay. Why do we need an access modifier? We're trying to limit other class accessibility to the current class or members. Okay, especially when we talk about the inheritance. The subclass can inherit some class and cannot inherit some class, right? We use access modifier to control, right? Something like a private, okay, all the subclass cannot inherit private members, right? Yes. How you indirectly to access private variables. We can put private variables into the public method, then call that public method, right? Okay, I talked about this example in last week, right? Okay. How many types of a member of class? Right, the attribute operation. What does scope means? What scope means? Okay, look at this example. We talk about scope. It means when you declare this variable as different part. Okay, the scope will be different. Okay, for example, if you declare this one as first line, that means all the methods in this class, they can access this one. Okay? But for this one, method end, which declared in the public some method, which means this one only can be accessed in this method. Okay, so this will give you some problem. Method int, which is out of the scope, right? Method int is supposed to used in a method, some method, right? But right now we used out of this method. This one will give you error. Okay? Even this one, they have a curly brace and declare the int block int in here. In the next line, we're trying to access this block int, which will give you error as well, because you declare this one in this curly brace, right? Okay, tell you valid or not valid. Okay, what does this mean? What does this keyword this mean? Yeah. Okay, it refers to current object instance variable or method, right? Okay, so this is means the current object, which call the instance variable or method in that class. Okay, if you don't understand this, check textbook, check PowerPoint. I have very detailed explanation how to use this. Okay, how to define the method. What's the format? Same thing, right? Access modifier, return type, method name, parameter, right? If you have a return type, the keyword return, you have to include. Okay? Question? Yeah. What that mean? Override. Override. What is override? What is override? What is override? First. Mm-hmm. Okay, same name, same parameter, same data type, return type, right? So most of the time we use them in the inheritance, right? Okay, if you still don't understand, you can track the method to string. Okay, this is a method in a very super class we call object. Okay, in this class we have this method to string. Okay, with empty. Okay, all the other method class, they all inherit from object. Okay, which means scanner, string, integer. Okay, you just name it. All the class inherits of object, which means all the class have this method, empty method. Okay, if you want to use them, you can override them. Okay, we override them, keep same name, same parameter, same return type. What is overload? What is overload? Listen. Different parameter. Can we use a different order of parameter? Okay. For example, okay, method A, int C, okay, is a return with 8. Can we write something like double C with double? Is that overload? Yes? Okay, that's yes, okay. Can we do something like this? Can we do like this? Yes. Okay. Can I do this? Yes. Okay. That means different order, different number of the parameter, different return type. Okay? That makes sense? Okay, then we talk about the static one, right? What's static? The static is means, okay, something in this class, they won't change. Okay, normally you assign the data, okay, like a rate, like a formula. Okay, for example, pi, right? Never change. We can set them as a static. Okay, some method we can make as static. For example, all the method in the math class, they are static. Okay, which means all those methods won't be changed based on the object. We get directly to use this method. So normally it's something like the formula, right? How to return the maximum number, return the minimum number, return the absolute number, right? All those things won't be changed based on your object. Okay? Then we talk about what's the enumeration. What is enumeration? Okay, enumeration helps you to categorize the different categories, right? Each categories you can call them using an index as well. It's very similar when we use array, but they are not array. We declare them as a type. Okay? In here, you need to know how to use switch case with enumeration. Okay? Switch case. Okay, familiar with the method we talk about in the enumeration. Try to understand how to use them. Okay? Most important things. Try to understand how to use them in the switch case. Okay? So then the exam will cover the inheritance, okay, which we just talked about last week. So I want to review, okay, that part. So all the things in the exam will cover, okay, in this exam. So inheritance, user-defined class, array, multi-dimensional array, array list. Okay, all of them will be covered. Okay. So this Wednesday and Friday, okay, you go review by yourself, which means there's no lecture, but you have to spend time on reviewing. There's many concepts. Okay, even for me to review for you guys, it take like 1 hour. If for yourself, it probably take longer. Okay? This Friday, Wednesday, try to review by yourself. If you have any question, this is time you can ask. Okay? Try to post your question or find tutor in this week. Okay, not weekend. Okay? It's suppose you figured out all the problem before the weekend. Okay? And solve the problem before the weekend as well. So next Monday, we have in-class exam. Okay? Bring pencil, pen with you. The exam is closed book, closed note, but you can take one cheat sheet, writing by your hand, okay? Which means handwrite A4 white paper cheat sheet, okay? For example, This is the A4, okay? The only thing you can do, handwrite, which means use your pen to write anything, okay? You think you cannot memorize. You can write down over there, okay? Both sides, okay? So which means if you very hard to memorize some syntax, okay, this is something you can use, okay, both sides. But you cannot print. Only thing you can do using the handwriting, okay? Question? Yes?
The exam is on computer or is it paper-based?
Paper-based.
And what's the format like? Is it MCQs, short questions?
It's very similar to last semester. Okay, you have multiple choice, but this time, some multiple choice like simulates the result. I will ask you guys to write down, not choice. Okay, most of the thing you need to write. Okay, I didn't give you any like the option you can choose. Okay, for example, I give the code over there. I'm trying to let you guys to simulate what's the result. Last semester, okay, you can guess. At least you can guess to right answer, like 25%, you can get a right answer. But this time, if you guess, probably the probability is very low. Okay, which means you have to take care of this exam. Okay, you got at least the weekend and the Wednesday and Friday to take care of the exam. All right. Then next Wednesday, I will give the lecture about polymer vision and the interface. Okay, the rest of the chapter. Question? Question? Good. Therefore, class today.